Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of my Summer of Magic leadership series. I'm so excited to be here. I took last week off to celebrate my own Summer of Magic. And as I was taking the week off work, I actually just spent some time thinking about what's possible, what could be created while I wasn't just looking at my emails, directly outreaching to people, directly communicating with people, and just being very open to possibility for when I came back from vacation. And that's all part of what the Summer of Magic is and what I'm here to teach you how to do as well. This has been such a really, really fun summer, interviewing different women that have different perspectives on what magic means to them, how they have used quite literally my Summer of Magic process to create opportunities, promotions, speaking gigs, all kinds of things happening in their lives and their careers as a result of using the Summer of Magic. And this week I have an absolutely magical, incredible guest for each of you. As you're listening to this live stream, you know, we're here. We can see your comments. So definitely say hi. Let us know that you're there. Put in the comments any questions that you might have along the way. We're happy to answer them for you. But I really just want to dive in. We're not spending too much time together. So let's just get going. Hi, Nicole. Welcome.
Hi, Stacy. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks. Introduce yourself.
I'm Nicole Durga. I am the Senior Director of Value-Based Care for a home health company and been in the healthcare sector for almost 20 years, a physical therapist by background. It's been fun transitioning from being a individual contributor, taking care of patients, to taking care of our teams who take care of the patients. And now looking at things from a standpoint of like, how do we take care of the infrastructure in our organization so that we can continue to provide the best care possible for our patients and support our clinicians. So it's been fun, this transitional experience. It's been the last several years.
Yeah, but you know, over the last couple of years, right? Like this has been a quick journey for you. And I think that's part of the definition of magic, is that really anything is possible, that we make these sort of exponential, non-logical leaps. You know, when I came up with the idea of Summer of Magic, it was that we could get promoted while we're on vacation, while we're on sabbatical, while we're on maternity leave, whatever that might be. We don't need to be staring at our computer consistently asking for the promotion, that it's some pieces that we put into place that actually create those opportunities to come to us. So let's actually start out with that. Why don't you talk about those sort of exponential or supernatural leaps that have happened for you that were sort of outside of the norm of the traditional corporate ladder?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm thinking the email maybe you sent out before we connected, it talked about how like this is my almost third promotion of Summer of Magics. Since I started reading your book, listening to your podcast, reading your emails. I've done a couple of your workshops. And really what has been the catalyst in all of those opportunities has been actually taking something that you've suggested and doing it. Like that's
so simple, right?
That's all it's taken. Like having those 15-minute ally meetings, asking for those, having a conversation with your boss, but not talking the whole time. Like make a statement, come in with your intent, and then just stop talking. Staying curious about things. If an opportunity that you thought you were going to get goes to somebody else, what is still available for you, and asking about that. And those are all things that Stacy has recommended and I've just put into action, and they work.
Yeah. You know, that's what the other piece of magic is, that there are ingredients, right? So I think about like a magical cauldron or whatever, and you're putting these ingredients, and those ingredients work together to create something, to manifest something, to bring something into existence. And what she's talking about are like these ingredients. And if we do the pieces and we put the pieces into place, because a lot of us are doing ingredients, right? Like we're actively pursuing career advancement, leadership development. I mean, we're not sitting on our couches wishing that things would happen, but sometimes we're not necessarily putting the right ingredients into the stew, so to speak, to get the result that we want, right? And so when you follow, a proven process and you ask questions about it, I mean, one of the big things about Nicole is that she's always very curious too. And you could even tell, like, in her answer, that it was sort of like, why not? Why not try this? Because I have nothing to lose, and this seems like it could work. So actually, let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that magical component of curiosity is another piece to this.
Absolutely. So recently, after I got my second promotion, about 6 months later, corporate decided, like, hey, like, maybe let's relook at what this position might be, because there were multiple of us in it in different companies. And I didn't love the direction. And so I just asked my leaders, what are your thoughts? Like, I stayed open. I wasn't upset. I just was like curious. Do you think that this would be the best use of my skills, the best that I could help our team, putting me, changing my role up to fit into this new role? And their immediate response was no. And then I said, okay, so then what are your suggestions? And that just opened the door to a promotion a couple months later.
Oh my gosh. There is I read this in a book a few years ago, that this best negotiation tool is to say, what are your concerns, right? And so that kicks you back into problem solving mode, what you're talking about, instead of just being like, oh, rejection, and then we pull back and we retreat and we hide under our desk, right? Instead, you just stayed curious, leaned forward, and we're like, oh, okay, well, what is possible then if that's not going to work?
Yeah. And I would be honest, like, anything that I've done that I've implemented from your suggestions or your trainings has never been like full circle intentional, where I was like, okay, if I do this, then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then I'm going to do this. Like, it has always been, I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to like stick with it. And then I get more comfortable with putting myself in different situations. And then 6 months later, it's like, oh, I see how those seeds got planted. I see how we got here, but I could have never set it up. So being into that magic, or that manifestation of like knowing where you want to go, like your 3X vision you talk about, Stacy, like, if you know where you want to go and you keep putting things out there or trying things to get there, you'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more about magic as a concept. I'm curious from you if you believe in magic, what your experience has been like with the actual word or process of magic, your point of view.
I don't know if I'd call it magic, because I think that, just like there's not an overnight success, like those people put in years of hard work. We just didn't see it. We're just seeing their success. They're coming out of nowhere for us. So I think part of the magic is when people are able to stick with things for a long enough period of time to get where they're hoping to get. Or I'll be honest, 5 years ago, couldn't have fathomed this career for myself. Like, couldn't have been like, this is what I see myself doing in 5 years. It's just been having all of these incremental opportunities that have expanded my vision of what's possible.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that definition. And, part of the transition for me is going from, basically this practical application, like we do the work, we have this sort of incremental approach, and over time things start to come together. Just like you said, you can look back on your career and sort of see the pieces that put this into motion. And then now for me, it's about this future question of what's possible. How quick can I do this? How poof magical I can make something happen. Maybe it's even some of the ingredients of like your office space. And I was talking to a client the other day about feng shui, and I was remembering some situations in the past where I created like a money corner. And, it's like you have that belief, that intention, and you can't say, oh, I'm going to put this tree in this corner and then that's going to create $5,000 for me. but the intention that says, hey, I am interested in having abundance, right? I want to have financial freedom. And so I'm going to put this tree in the corner and then go into curiosity as you've spoken about, and then sort of see what's possible. Really just like, oh, it's actually possible to have $5,000 fall into your lap, but it's also possible to have $5,000 not fall into your lap because you're not open to it. You're not available for it. You're not looking for it. You're not curious. You hear the no and you just shut down, right?
100%. That is something that I had been saying for a little bit before I got this most recent promotion in May, was I just want to work more closely with the executive leadership team. I just want to work more closely. Like, I just want to like better understand like how they make decisions, and I just want to learn from them. And that is really what I had been telling myself. And then when I got an opportunity to have a conversation with the CEO, and that was like what I was preparing to say. Like, I wanted to just be like, hey, I would love more opportunities to get to work more with your executive team. And on that call, I didn't even get a chance to say that, because he was like, okay, I'd like you to work more closely with my executive team.
See, that's it. That's it.
Actually, let's just build you a position. And I think, and so it's about not always having like a perfect like end goal of what you want, but being open to the magic of like, it could be even better than you had possibly envisioned.
So good. So good. So speaking of better, why do you personally feel motivated to have a voice at the table?
So for me, I think that I bring a different perspective that I don't always see in every conversation or where decisions are being made. So I want to make sure that the perspective that I'm bringing, the transparent expectations, the collaborative information I like to collect from a lot of different people from on our team, I want to make sure that I'm bringing their voices to the table, so that whatever we decide, whatever direction we're going in, we have everybody's voices included. And I think that's really, really important. Like, I mean, I have my own opinions, but I learned very early on in my leadership career that people didn't want me to just tell them what to do. They wanted to have their own say on how they were going to get to maybe a mutual goal. And I just want to bring that perspective when we're making decisions.
Yeah. I was thinking as you were talking about being this catalyst for that conversation, catalyst at your organization for that wider, conversation around leadership and bringing voices in. And, part of the magical ingredients, and Nicole has been such an excellent student of the work that I teach. And one of the other pieces is this next level, which is sharing your stories, sharing your process. And there's a really fantastic podcast episode, which will be super fun for everybody to go back to listen to. We'll link to it. And if Marie is listening, maybe she can drop it in the comments so that people can go back and listen to that, because it was at the end of the last Summer of Magic when I interviewed you in a panel of leaders about the Summer of Magic. And then now fast forward a year and we're bringing you back again to celebrate you once again. So celebrating publicly, allowing as part of the Summer of Magic, what the main goal is to celebrate 432 promotions over the summer of 2024 publicly on LinkedIn. If you're not directly following me, make sure that you connect with me personally. And if you do get promoted, hashtag Summer of Magic 2024 so that we can celebrate you as well. But part of that journey, part of that magical ingredient is to celebrate, right? It's important for us to say, hey, I did this, I created this, I followed a process to get here, because, and this is the thing that people really forget, is that you create everything, right? And so I'll have clients that say, up until now, promotions came really easily. And when we can identify what is the process that we're doing to put ourselves out there, to advocate for ourselves, just as you spoke about, what is that process to bring in those other voices as a leader, right? You have something that you're doing that the other executive leadership isn't, right? And so there's a unique aspect to you. And so really naming that, identifying that so that we can continue growing and recreating that in our career is so, so, so important. Anything else you want to share before we head out today?
I just want to add that I love the Summer of Magic. I love that you're acknowledging everybody, because I'll be honest, I didn't announce on LinkedIn this most recent promotion. It wasn't until you tagged me in a post, Stacy,
Oh.
that I like shared, reposted it, and was like, I guess I'll announce my promotion. So, but I mean, I really appreciate it as well. So I want to encourage everybody, when you have a coworker who gets promoted, or if you have a friend that gets promoted, or a LinkedIn connection that gets promoted, like, shout those people out. Like, it feels awkward for a lot of us to share our promotions or share something exciting if we earned an award or something like that. Acknowledge each other. There's nothing more fills my cup when I can like tag people in a LinkedIn post about something awesome that they've done.
Yeah.
I just encourage you all to do that as well.
Yeah, this really fits with your leadership style that you're talking about, right? We have the ability, and we know that how challenging it feels to do it for ourselves. So let's like celebrate everybody. And we still have a whole month left in summer. I know a lot of people are going back to school, work is ramping up and everything, but we'll be continuing to celebrate promotion after promotion over the next 4 weeks. And I have a feeling a lot of those magical ingredients for women are going to start coming together in this last month. We're going to see a lot more promotion. So thank you for acknowledging that, Nicole. It really does matter. And I'm so grateful. We have one more interview next week where we get to celebrate another client who was recently promoted. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Connect with Nicole on LinkedIn if you're not already. And I'll see you again soon.
Bye, everybody.